and Ashley.
Ooh.
I know, we got it right. Very impressive, guys. Anyways, what are you sipping on?
Our bar is so low. Our bar.
Hey, look, we get our name right, I'm good for the rest of the episode, alright?
Win.
At least it's not like it used to be where we would sometimes have to re-record 4 times because someone forgot to push record or the thing wasn't working. So, I'm good. I'm good with getting our name correct.
We have grown a lot. I mean, people might disagree. People might not agree with that statement. But really, if you were with us from the beginning, we had a long conversation about this at lunch today. Mm-hmm. If people listen to us now, they might be like, okay, well, let me start from the beginning. Don't do that. Just give us some grace in the first season. We didn't know what we were doing. And there were loud people around us all the time.
Yes, now we just are loud. We are loud now. So,
and my children. Sorry.
I haven't heard your children in a while. Oh, what is that? What are you drinking?
I am drinking a vodka Sprite today.
Oh, fancy.
Fancy.
I am drinking a Red Bull. It gives you wings. That's what I'm drinking today. Red Bull does not sponsor us, but if they'd like to, they can.
I was gonna say, hey, Red Bull, call us.
Have your people call our people. We're like super famous. So like I said last time we recorded, we did have to skip last week because of this little hurricane that came through. I did not have internet or power. So anyways, I am still working on the Snap Crackle.
That's all right. We actually saw quite a bit of damage in the area for us being told like it was just a little storm. It was like, oh, by the way, it's going to be a hurricane. It's coming right at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually surprised where I am renting, because it's right on the water, had like no damage. Really. I mean, it had a little bit of damage, but not like the city had damage, right? The area had damage, but where I was actually staying didn't. But then my actual house that's nowhere near the water did. So it was kind of weird. But anyways.
Oh, yeah. That is strange.
Yeah. I survived. I'm fine. Like, I ate all of my hurricane food in like 2 hours. So, like, I mean, it didn't go to waste.
Where are you?
And I have ordered Kevin 2.0, which is literally the same exact Kevin. If you're unfamiliar with Kevin, he's our screaming goat that makes an appearance. He just did. But Amazon is delayed on their deliveries, so he's not here yet. That way we can both have a Kevin.
Oh.
My Kevin will have both of his ears, though, so.
Oh.
Anyways, now that we've lost everybody, welcome to Case Files with Kat and Ashley. We're here. We are actually a podcast. We do things other than talk about ourselves sometimes. I guess we'll just go into question of the week.
Yes.
So I always love if you're unfamiliar with question of the week, we always post one on our Facebook page, Instagram. Sometimes it makes it other places, but we ask it every week. We like to see your questions. We like to read your, we like to see your answers to the questions of the week. Anywho, my question was one of those predictive text things, which I always love, where you push the middle button. And the question was, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally, and so what was the rest of yours?
The rest of mine, which I'm about to hit post right now, says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally hit a couple of people and then went on a break.
Seems fair. Seems accurate.
Seems fair. Oh, I'm not supposed to post it. I'm not posting it.
I mean, you can post it, right? Like,
well, people will read it and then not listen to the show because
oh yes, that's why they're not going to be listening.
The best part of the show just happened, but we do have some pretty funny answers, so I can't wait for you to hear them.
Good. My answer was one time when casting a spell, I accidentally put the house on a plane. Seems like something I would do.
That just that sounds so much more whimsical than mine.
I'm sorry that my middle button is funnier. I mean, I don't know.
I apparently hit people and
listen, I don't know what you're typing on your phone all the time, all right?
Right?
But, over here, I'm not a violent person, so.
Like, listen, Siri, I said hit. What? Like hit it, like you want to hit it.
Okay, I don't know if that's any better than the other. I'm just gonna move to my trivia.
We just lost everybody. Apologies.
I'm just gonna move on to my trivia because I don't know how to follow up with that. Okay, so some trivia for you this evening. There's a theme to this trivia, so.
Okay. Oh, let me see if I can guess it.
Okay, well, I really hope you can because it's very obvious. When it comes to female serial killers, the most common method of killing is poison. And they say that's typically because the women are killing are usually fairly larger than them physically. And so it's just easier to poison them. It's kind of like behind the scenes. It's like a silent killer. Approximately 15% of all serial killers are women, which I actually thought I thought that was kind of a high number.
I did too. Hey, ladies, who run the world? No, just kidding.
While male serial killers are more likely to target strangers, women most often kill those that are close to them, their husbands, their children, or elderly relatives. I don't think that's a shock to anybody. Unlike male serial killers, female serial killers are less likely to have a prior criminal history. So typically, male serial killers have been arrested for like petty theft, crime, just general things along the way. Women serial killers tend to have never been arrested before, like no kind of past, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. When good women go bad.
This is just my opinion, but I think women's crimes tend to be more crime of passion, like kind of in the moment, maybe. So, like, they are trying to get insurance money, or they're having a mental crisis breakdown, something like that. They're in an abusive type situation. So I'm not saying they're all like that. I'm just saying like they didn't want to be a serial killer. It was more of like it kind of happened. Maybe, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert. But anyways, it says that they're less likely to have a prior criminal history and they're more likely to kill their husbands. So, and women are less likely to torture their victims than male serial killers. Male serial killers tend to torture their victims, where women just kind of kill them and get it over with. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's my
I kind of feel like poisoning is torture, though.
I feel like they mean like physical torture, like they're not going to stab them a bunch of times. They're not going to like lock them up and, drag it out. They don't typically rape them, that kind of stuff. They just kind of do the killing and move on. So the theme is
do the thing.
The theme is female serial killer.
I got that.
Yay! Okay, so I'm just gonna jump on into the story. So, as I said, if you could not tell by the trivia, I am discussing a female murderer. I'm going to be talking about Angela Simpson. So, I don't know if you've heard of her, but
I haven't.
Many people may not have heard of her necessarily, but you might have heard about her case because on TikTok, users started using clips of her insane interview as a sound. If you're unfamiliar with TikTok, you can make videos to different sound clips, and her interview is one of the clips. And that's originally where I heard it, and I was like, why are people using this serial killer's interview as a sound on TikTok? So I looked into her, and she's literally crazy. I'm going to play the interview later. That's just a fact. She is like legitimately crazy. That's not an assumption. She is crazy. And so that's where I heard of the case. I was like, this is really interesting to me. So I researched it more and learned about it more. And so once again, my story came to me from TikTok. So thank you, TikTok. I'm obsessed with TikTok. I spend way too much time on it.
Hi, my name is Ashley.
I'm a TikTok
I'm obsessed with TikTok.
I'm too old to be on TikTok, but here we are. Her interview is literally the most insane interview I think I've ever heard. Like, it's just crazy. You'll see. You'll hear it in a little bit. I will play it, and if you can't understand it when you listen to the episode, I will have a link to it in the show notes. Okay. Angela Simpson was born on November 29th, 1975, and she lived in Phoenix, which is also where the crime was committed. In April 2012, she was sentenced to a life prison plus 14 years for the murder of Terry Nelly, which was a disabled man confined to a wheelchair. The additional 14 years was given to her for convictions of abandonment of a body and kidnapping. So what exactly did she do to poor Terry? Yes. This is not even the crazy part. On August 2nd, 2009, Simpson, she lured Terry away from the assisted care facility where he was living to her apartment with the promise of sex and drugs. Now, they were friends. They did know each other. So it wasn't like she was a complete stranger who just got, like, he didn't just leave to go to a stranger's house. Like, he knew who Angela was. Okay, but he did live in an assisted care facility. And he left.
But hold on. So she's a year younger than me-ish. I got married in 2012. So you're saying that this woman who's a year younger than me took a man who's living in an assisted living facility, an elderly man, to her home.
He was only 46.
Oh.
But I will talk about why he was living there
Got it.
here in a little bit, but it was still really fucked up.
Okay. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
She lured him to her apartment. Once inside of the apartment, Simpson tortured the man over a 3-day period, during which time, I'm going to warn people, it gets really graphic really quickly in the next couple of paragraphs, so just trigger warning. So over the 3-day period, she pulled out all of his teeth. She drove
oh my God.
a nail into his head. She admitted to torturing him with her hands and various weapons, including a tire iron and a hammer. She did all of this while she made him sit in front of a mirror so he could see what she was doing to him. On the final day of the torture, Simpson strangled the man with an electrical wire and stabbed him more than 50 times. During his, when the medical examiner was doing his report, it was revealed that he had sustained multiple blunt force head injuries, that he had a 3-inch nail hammered into his brain. He had 50 stab wounds, and his throat had been slashed. His body was dismembered. So she had cut off his legs, and they said it looked like she had attempted to cut his arms, but maybe she just couldn't do it. And so she took the body and she put it in a trash can, and his body was found in the trash can in front of a church on August 6th by firefighters. Firefighters showed up to the church where they thought that someone had started like a garbage fire, like a prank or something, because the church had an event that night. But that's when they realized it wasn't a prank, and they found the charred remains of what appeared to be a male body. So at this point, the firefighters called police to investigate what was going on, like who this man was, how he ended up there. But there was a lot of problems because the body could not be identified because it was so charred in the fire. And then it couldn't even be done by dental records because, as I stated, she pulled out his teeth. So there was no physical way to tell who he was, and that actually the only way they were able to identify the body is because during the autopsy, I can never say this word when I'm on air, autopsy? How do you say it?
Autopsy.
Autopsy. I don't know why I cannot speak when I'm, guys, when I'm not on this podcast, I can speak just fine. Anyways, the medical examiner was doing his report and he was able to retrieve multiple partial fingerprints. And by piercing together the fragments of the remaining prints, he was able to make some kind of cohesive print, which was then used to identify the body as Terry. So once they had the identity, the police, they began to question and they went through the neighborhood, and there was an informant that told them they should look into Angela Simpson because they had seen Angela and Terry doing drugs on multiple occasions outside of this abandoned apartment complex. Well, not abandoned apartment complex, but outside of this apartment complex. So at this point, the police were like, okay, well, they didn't have any other leads. He hadn't been reported missing or anything, so they were going to start with this because that's the name they had. So at this point, they head over to Angela's apartment, where they saw an abandoned motorized wheelchair on the grass. The police obtained a warrant to search her apartment, which once inside, they found that there was the carpet had been torn up. There was no furniture. The only actual furniture in this apartment was a chair and the full-length mirror in which she made him sit in front of as she tortured him. They found pliers, a gallon of bleach, and basically a lot of blood everywhere. It was like the bleach hadn't even been used. It was just like, it was basically like this apartment was just used for this murder and that she didn't actually live there. So they think that maybe it was like an abandoned apartment. Anyways, so the police wanted to question Angela, but discovered she was actually in jail already on an unrelated armed robbery charge. Jesus. So, yeah. So the police, they went to interview her about the murder, at which time Simpson flat out admitted that she killed Terry. She was like, yeah, I did it. So what? And the informant turned out to be the apartment complex manager. He said that the man Angela had been arrested with for the armed robbery was named Edward McFarlane, had told him everything. Like, Edward was just bragging to him, told him how he helped Angela get rid of the body. Like, it was his car that Angela used to drive the body to the church. Edward had told the apartment manager that after they got rid of the body, that she threatened him and said if he told anyone, she would kill him, and basically said that he would end up the exact same way as Terry. But Edward was bragging about it anyways. And some of the locals claim that Simpson was a sex worker and that Terry was her pimp, but that was literally not confirmed in anything else I read. So I think it was just people trying to like add to a story that was unnecessary. But anyway, so this informant, which was the apartment complex, ratted them out. So after she was charged, she did an interview, which I'm going to play now. It is a 13 minute interview, but it's very important to listen to the whole thing because it is crazy. So let me.
I am like shocked. Like, I feel like this guy just blabbing to the apartment manager, like, stupid is as stupid does. I don't know.
He like just got out of jail for, I guess he was on bond or whatever for this armed robbery, and he was just bragging to the apartment manager about helping her, even though she literally said, I will kill you, like I did Terry. So I don't know. So I'm going to play the interview now. Again, it's about 13 minutes, but it's really, really important for everyone to listen to it because it explains her demeanor. It explains her frame of mind, and she's trying to justify the murder. Like, she truly believes it was justified, and she has like no remorse whatsoever. And then at the end of it, well, we'll talk about it when we get to it, but the end of it's kind of important too, because basically she's putting on a show this whole interview. So
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I am going to let me know if you can hear this.
Angela, I've seen previous interviews and with the police, and one of our colleagues talked to you once upon a time. You're very upfront.
Pretty much.
About talking about this killing.
Right.
You murdered this man.
Yes.
You tortured him.
Of course.
There is no ambiguity, and there is nothing you want to... In court today, you said you're not here to pretend to be remorseful.
Of course not. Why would I do that?
Are you remorseful?
Not at all.
Why?
Why would I be?
Well, why did this man deserve to die? You claimed he was a snitch.
Well,
what proof do you have of that?
He told me he was a snitch.
He told you.
On many occasions. But that really doesn't matter. Why did you guys want to kill me? Phoenix wanted to kill me. What's the difference? Everybody has a reason to kill. My reason might not be good to you, but your reason wasn't good to me. So.
The incident, can you tell me anything about what happened during those 3 days while you were...
What do you mean?
I
took him to my house, walked him down the street. I don't know why the media acts like the motherfucker couldn't walk. He walked very well. Walked him upstairs, kicked his ass, and killed him.
And again, your belief is that he was a snitch because he told you. You claimed that other people had been killed in that same part. You had killed other people. Have you killed other people?
No, I've never killed anyone else.
So that was something, this talk.
Right.
How do you feel about spending the rest of your life in prison?
You know, I got a lot of family in prison, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I got many sisters in prison. I can't wait to see them. It's really not that much of a punishment to be sentenced to spend my life with my family.
And you don't want to talk about your past, but your lawyer said that, you know what, in sentencing you, the judge should bear in mind that you had a really tough life.
I started being hospitalized at 10 years old. I have a mental history from 10 years old until present, so, yeah. When
you say mental history, I mean, do you care that anyone feels sorry for you? Do you want anybody?
Feel sorry for me?
Yeah. Should the people who are watching this say because she had a bad childhood,
of course not.
Because she had mental illness?
Of course not. No.
That we should feel some sympathy for you?
No.
You would not have that.
I want no sympathy. No.
What then? Do you care what anybody thinks about Angela Simpson and what you have done?
I don't.
It's again your candor. I've interviewed people who have committed murders before, and usually they sort of prevaricate or they this or that. You're about as direct as it gets.
Right.
Why is that?
It's only fair. I expect you to be the same way.
Okay. Do you think that it was fair today? It was justice in that courtroom?
No, I don't.
Why?
I should have gotten the death penalty.
Did you want the death penalty?
No. I prefer to spend my life with my sisters, but yeah, I do believe that would have been justice.
So you deserve death penalty, but you're glad that you got what you got.
Right.
Because you...
Right.
When you say your sisters, you're talking about women you know in prison.
Right.
Okay. And have you found that there is some bonding and that you have made friends here that will be of some comfort to you when you're in prison?
Most definitely, yes.
Most definitely, yes.
Yeah.
What has the experience been like here in this facility?
Horrible.
Really?
Yes, it's terrible. Jail is awful. They don't, they have no, well, they have no compassion. They don't give us the things we need here.
Will prison to your understanding?
I certainly hope so, yes.
Have you done time in prison?
No.
So you're hoping that it will be a better existence?
Yes,
for you,
definitely.
You're a young woman, 36 years old. You could be there a long time.
Right. Right.
But your belief is that you deserve the death penalty.
Definitely. Well, I believe God. That's what God says. Unless God is wrong, which I doubt. So.
And would God has told you that, or you just believe that?
I believe that.
Eye for an eye.
Right. Right. I expected to die for this.
What insights can you give us to you? What would you have anyone who may hear this interview know about you?
There's really nothing. People are going to believe what they want to believe. Judge the way they want to judge, just like I do. So.
Yeah.
so be it.
Why did you feel like you were in a position to be the judge and jury in Terry Neely's life?
I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm really not trying to get
Right.
you angry, but I want to see, you say, I killed this guy, he deserved to
Right.
die, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's there, you're up
Right.
front. I want to know if you have any concerns about what put you in that position to do that to them.
It was just too much. The things he talked about, it was too much.
Do you believe him? I mean, lots of people go around claiming I'm a snitch or make themselves...
Really, you don't say.
Well, I think they talk about law. I know people coming. I've got associations with law enforcement. You know, I've got this. I'm a friend with this.
Do you happen to have a list of those people?
They name drop. Well, maybe in the circle, but you
Right.
know what I'm saying.
Right.
People say lots of things to make themselves sort of look.
Well, he picked the wrong nigger to say that to. If he wanted to brag about putting so many people in prison, he picked the wrong person.
And that's what did it to him. That's why you.
What, the bragging?
The bragging
Oh, yeah.
about putting people in prison.
Right.
People you knew.
No, I don't know any of them.
Okay. Do you believe him? Do you think he really was a snitch?
Oops, if he wasn't. Yes, I believe he was.
Yeah. Do you have family?
I do.
From an adoptive family, or
I have 4 children.
You have 4 children.
I do have 4 children.
Where are they?
Selmaraj.
What is how they doing, and how is it for you to be separated from them?
I don't want to talk about my children. I can't do that.
Yeah. Is there a message? Or is there a bottom line or a lesson to be learned from the story of Angela Simpson?
There's a bottom line to everything. But
what is the bottom line to this story?
Whatever people want it to be. It doesn't matter what I say. I don't know.
Insights that you don't regret killing this guy.
I don't regret killing him, no. I regret the fact that my co-defendants found it necessary to divulge so much information to the detectives. I regret that. They were people I really cared about. And I regret that they were near me or around me at any point.
And then helped prosecutors.
Helped the prosecution, correct.
You were angry at those people.
Definitely, because they didn't know, they weren't actually with me during any of my crimes. So for them to say that they were, to try to get lesser sentences, was a little heartbreaking for me.
So friends of yours lied to prosecutors and lied to police.
Correct.
Dropped the dime on you.
Correct.
They snitched on you.
Correct.
If you could, would you do to them what you did to Terry?
No, I would not.
Because you still have some relationship with them, or?
Well, no, but I had claimed a bond with them at one point, so I wouldn't be able to avenge that.
Yeah. Did you act completely alone?
Yes, definitely.
So nobody else helped?
No. Totally alone.
Help me understand. For 3, I know the crimes of passion or something, and in the heat of the moment, but to spend 3 days driving nails into a guy's head and pulling his teeth out.
Right.
Why?
I found it necessary.
Did you find it pleasurable or exciting, or was this just
necessary?
Necessary.
Right.
So this was more like a business-like proposition. You were doing something that you felt a job that needed to be done.
Right.
Really.
Right.
And whatever came into your head, I'm going to drive a nail into his head. Or was this just a symptom of what was at hand in that apartment?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Your moment. I'd like to, because we've got to get run back, and
right.
I want to get what you say on television. And I'm grateful that you would be willing to talk to us, and I wish you the best under these circumstances. What would you have the world know? You're sort of an interesting character. Because, first of all, women generally don't commit crimes this heinous.
Right.
This is usually the domain of men.
That's unfortunate.
You think more women?
Oh, yeah, equal opportunity, definitely.
And I know you're being sort of a smart aleck to me.
Slightly sarcastic.
But
yeah,
seriously, I mean, in some ways, I've been covering murder and mayhem and covered serial killers to petty shoot-'em-ups. And you don't meet many women who commit the kind of calculated, long-term murder that you committed with this guy. And you don't meet many people who are willing to say, I did it, and you know what? Deal with it.
Right. That's the way it should be, in my opinion.
But you seem so, you seem like you're sort of I'm sort of almost self-righteous about, I did this, and I did. Do you think you did the right thing by killing this guy?
Definitely.
Other than shooting his mouth off, what else did he do that you know of?
That's what he got done for. He's white trash. Somebody had to take it out. That's it.
Was there a racial component to it?
Oh, there's always a racial component.
Okay. And what do you mean by that?
I'm not going to elaborate on that at all.
Okay, but the fact that you're a black woman and he's a white guy, that factored into your killing him?
Yeah. I wouldn't kill another black individual.
Okay. Would you, if you had that moment to live over again?
I'd have kept him alive a week.
But you would have still tortured him and killed him?
Oh, I'd have tortured him for a week, yeah, instead of 3 days. Definitely.
So your only regret is that the torture didn't go on any longer? Right,
and I regret not killing my other victim. I should have killed him, too. I just didn't have time. I had to go somewhere.
And tell me who that other victim was.
Joseph Van Tress for the armed robbery. Yeah. I should have killed him, but I had to go.
Will you kill again?
If the opportunity arises, I hope so. Okay, we're done.
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Angela.
Good shit, dude. That's going to be crazy, isn't it? That's going to be wicked. Make it look good, please. Oh, you're going to put this on, too?
Well,
Don't put the ending on.
Thank you. Thank you. But honestly, best wishes to you. And
right.
Ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
Very real. I honestly can't.
Saw me again. This guy's incorrigible.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm incorrigible. Right. He's incorrigible. We're both incorrigible. Right. Best wishes to you. Right. Thank you.
Can we chat for a living?
I have other
Well.
So that was the interview where, as you heard, she's basically like proud of it, wishes she had done it longer. And then at the end, she's like, it was like a whole show for her. Like she was just putting on a show, like it was nothing.
That was insane. I was like just staring at her eyes, and they are just lifeless.
And like I said, it's like she's just putting on this show, and then at the end she's all laughing about it and happy about it, and like, oh, don't use that, like, like make me look good. And I just thought it was like I said, she sounded cold through the whole thing. Like if you watch the YouTube video, she just looks like cold,
blank.
No emotions, just straight to the point. I did it, he deserved it, he needed to die. That's just, and then saying that God said it was okay, basically. Like
eye for an eye.
Yes, but I mean, I feel like that is an extreme take on that, considering he didn't actually snitch on her. Which then I find ironic that someone did snitch on her for killing someone that she thought was a snitch. Circle of life. I guess I just used that incorrectly.
Well, I kind of felt like there was some underlying, like you sent other black people to prison, and that could have cost them their life. And so she wouldn't kill another black person. And so she probably was like avenging black people.
The thing is, like, no one could ever prove that he actually had snitched. And so that was the big factor here. I mean, obviously she murdered someone, but the big thing was like they could never, like the police never, like he was an informant. He was part of these cases. So as she stated in the interview, her biggest regret was that she wished she had kept him longer and tortured him longer and, killed the other victim, but she had somewhere to be apparently in the middle of an armed robbery. So, and as she said, if the opportunity arises, she said she hopes so when it comes to killing again. So, Simpson mentioned that she thought the verdict wasn't fair, that she thought she should get the life sentence, but that she was glad she didn't. She makes prison seem like it's going to be like a vacation for her, basically, because she's with family and like her other sisters and whatever else, and she's just so like not even any ounce of emotion in the interview at all. To me, it's just so bizarre. Like, I don't know how you could be just that emotionless about it after like torturing a man for 3 days and then setting his body on fire. How you could just be like, yeah, well,
So it's interesting because it sounded to me like she was hoping for death. Like there's maybe a little bit in there, and then when she said, well, at least I'll have my sisters, and then she clarified like, well, those are her friends that she considers her sisters.
Yeah.
And said because she doesn't have any family except for the 4 kids.
Right, which did not live with her.
Which did not live with her, so I hope that they're doing okay. But oh my goodness.
Yeah, I couldn't find any information on her children. So I'm not sure if they're like with the father or with family or what. But yeah, they were not living with her, especially during all of this. So Simpson, during her time in prison, because she's been in prison for a while now, she converted to Islam, and she's actually gotten married. Mind you, she's serving a life sentence plus 14 years, but she met someone and they got married. So, for anyone who was curious, Terry was in fact not a snitch. He was a 46-year-old paraplegic, which brings me to the point in her interview where she said she doesn't know why media acts like he couldn't walk, and it's because he literally could not walk. He was a paraplegic. He was confined to a motorized wheelchair, which is the motorized wheelchair that they found in her yard before they started the search warrant. He could stand on his legs, but not for a very amount of time, like for extended periods of time. Like he could not walk down a street. He could not walk up to her apartment. So.
Weren't there people who said they saw them together walking on the street?
No,
or they are just on the street?
There was the apartment manager saw them doing drugs out in front of the apartment. Like he was in his motorized wheelchair. They weren't like walking anywhere.
Got it. And that's why it probably stuck out to the manager, because he's like a guy in a motorized wheelchair. Yeah.
So he did have a mental disability. He was living in an assisted living facility. People who knew him described him as being very friendly, very easygoing. He was very well liked in the community. Another reason it was a hard time figuring out who he was prior to the fingerprint is because no one at the facility reported him missing. Like, they didn't know. He didn't check out. It's not like he had any visitors. Like, he just is seen on camera, like, leaving. And I think it was, like, some crazy hour of the morning. It was, like, 2 a.m. or something. He just rolled out of the living facility, and they never, like, did any kind of investigation of, like, why he didn't return or where he was. None of that. And this was, like, supposed to be an assisted living facility where they were supposed to be helping him and watching him, but Yeah, so no one reported him missing. They had no idea
Were there
where
any
he was.
charges filed? I'm sorry to interrupt. Were there any charges filed?
He didn't have any family in the area, so it wasn't like his family knew he was missing. They didn't alert his family that he wasn't there because apparently they were not paying attention. So,
if you have a paraplegic in a motorized wheelchair and you haven't gone to check on them, then you are leaving them in a wet, dirty mess. And they just thought, oh, well.
Like I said, he was confined to the wheelchair, and he was paraplegic, and he had a mental disability. And so, yeah, he
oh my gosh.
No one like said anything about like, oh, where's Terry? Yeah. And so, like I said, it's once you read into the story and you listen to the interview and you know what she did to him, to me, it's really like sick that people on TikTok are lip syncing to the interview, because they're lip syncing to the parts where she's talking about, oops, if he wasn't like really a snitch, and like talking about the part where he could walk down the street and stuff like that. So anyways, it was funny until I realized what it was about. But it's a very popular sound on there, so you know you've probably heard it. But yes, it's really my story. It's not very long, but I wanted to tell it because I know there's a lot of people who have probably heard it and didn't know where it came from, and it was such a crazy story because of her interview and how she's like really just putting on a show for everyone, and then the fact that nobody seemed to care that Terry was dead, like, which is what blew my mind.
I mean, nobody.
So yeah,
that is just heartbreaking. And but I mean, that's crazy. I can't think of, other than, what story was it of yours? Was it that weird house? I don't know. I feel like I can't think of anything else where they someone did something so, I mean, all the teeth and then the stab and the nail in the brain and the what, I'm just like, it's just so much. But it wasn't something that just needed to be done. A shot in the head is something that needs to be done, I guess. I don't know, but like all the other things, like, what?
So there was an actress named Krista Allen. They said she played a young Jennifer Garner on 13 Going on 30. So she took a part, apparently, of this TikTok sound. And she did 2 versions of the interview comparing her TikTok acting to film acting. And the video had like over 300,000 views. But it kind of rubbed some TikTokers the wrong way. It says, I really don't think this is something to be used as acting. It's a real crime and it feels wrong. You're a great actress, but could you imagine being the victim's family member and stumbling across this major trend on TikTok? So a lot of people are kind of like, they can't believe that TikTok is allowed, because when people use it, they use the hashtag murder. And it's like a whole challenge now on there. And they're saying like, that's very, disturbing, and it's very disrespectful to the victims, which it is. I mean, to be making light of and using the sound of her talking about murdering him. But I think the problem is a lot of people using it don't realize it is a real crime and that it really happened and how bad it was, which is another reason why I wanted to cover it, so people could understand the severity of it, so they might think twice about using the sound and making light of the situation.
Yeah, it's almost like fetishizing Angela Simpson too, and she's like, "Ooh, I'm famous now." You know, I'm sure she's hearing about it.
But yeah, I think a lot of people on TikTok are kind of younger, and so I just don't think they realize what the sound is. And a lot of the sounds are just like made up or random clips or whatever. And I just, like I said, I didn't realize it was a real thing. When I first heard it, I thought it was funny, and then I did the research and was like, wow, this is crazy that they're allowing it to stay up, because that is really, it's kind of like fantasy, like, to me, it's kind of like glorifying what she did. And I don't know, some of the videos that I've seen to go with it are kind of just really sick. So anyways, but yeah, it's like a whole TikTok trend thing to use it. And I'm surprised that an actress would use it. But again, I'm thinking a lot of people don't know where it comes from, because it doesn't say on the sound clip where it came from. It just says that it's an interview with Angela Simpson. But if you don't know who Angela Simpson is, you wouldn't know what the rest of the interview was about. So anyways.
Wow. Well, this was certainly one of the crazier stories, even if it was like a shorter one, because I mean, she only committed one atrocious crime. I mean, I hate that kind of stuff. I just don't like it, especially like teeth pop.
Yeah.
Ugh, I have nightmares sometimes, like where like the tooth falls out.
I know, like with all my dental work, that's like the worst fear I have. Like,
oh God.
If you're gonna kill me, don't pull my teeth out, because I spent a lot of money on them.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. Okay. I have answers to your question of the week. Oh, wait, here we go. So, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally, and so from Glenn, he says, I accidentally made a couple more of my favorites.
Oh,
that could be like beer. All right. I know, right? Noelle says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally put a smile on my face.
Aww.
This just sounds way too nice.
Oh, that's adorable.
RC says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally hit the wrong button. All right.
I'm surprised it isn't about beer.
Dev says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally sent the kids to the wrong side.
Ooh.
Jackie says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally did not have the ability of being able for the first broken arm for me to get a better idea of how much it would be worth.
I think you're broken. I think your spell's broken.
We're missing some punctuation. So, okay. Sarah says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally took the pick. LOL. The other Ashley says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally took the first time.
Okay.
She make that face. Dennis says, love you, my favorite niece. That's your uncle?
I don't know who that is.
Dennis Roswell.
It's not my
love you.
I don't know who
love you,
I think that
my
was,
favorite niece.
I don't know if he was responding to someone on our Facebook. I don't know who that is. Unless it's a long-lost relative that has never contacted me, because I don't know who that is.
Because, I don't know, random. Hey, Dennis, who are you? All right. Kathy says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally took it out. Whoop.
Took what out? What did it take out?
I know.
I need to know.
Susan says, one time when casting a spell, I accidentally put on your computer and I am baking a new one for you.
Oh, that's my mother. It's my mother.
That's your mother. So now you get a new baked computer. Congratulations.
Yay, thank you. I don't know who Dennis is. And no one responded to poor Dennis, so I don't know who your favorite niece is. Sorry.
You're someone's favorite niece, Ashley. This week, anyway.
Okay. I mean, I'll take it. I just don't know who he is. Our podcast, bringing families together. One question of the week at a time. On Instagram, we have Miss MZ3. She gave us 2 answers. One time when I was casting a spell, I accidentally put on the radio to find the best of my ability. And then her second answer was, one time when casting a spell, I burned the house down with a candle. Oh, well,
That's
you gotta
so
watch out for them
appropriate.
candles. Thank you. She always comments on our Instagram stuff, so thank you for listening and
Yay.
commenting.
Thanks to all you Insta people. So the body has been confirmed to be Gabby Petito.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And
so sad.
Speaking of TikTok, pretty much TikTokers solved that case. I know, but they kind of like, because the family that saw the van near where the body was buried was a TikTok person. Like, they were taking video of their family trip, and they got a video of the van in the background, and that's near where her body was found. And then a hitchhiker also made a TikTok video about picking up Brian, which was the boyfriend. And so it's kind of like they're all piecing together these timelines and stuff. So that was just crazy. People keep mentioning that they're upset that people aren't focusing on other missing people's cases. There are lots of people that talk about missing cases. There's a lot of Facebook groups you can join. There's a lady on TikTok, if you do use TikTok, called Bridget Matters. That's her account, Bridget Matters, and she's a reporter in Miami. And she covers all kinds of missing people cases. You can leave her a comment about one that you want her to talk about, and she will highlight it. She'll talk about the person, where they went missing, what's known about it, and who to contact if you have information. So she's a really good source. There's all kinds of platforms and forums to look into missing people and, pay attention to your Amber Alerts and that kind of stuff. You never know.
There were definitely some red signs, some missed opportunities, and I think that just highlights that for people who are in abusive relationships, there's just some missed opportunities to get someone to safety. When being in a van with that person. Yeah.
So
she probably didn't know that she could get help.
Well, I don't know, but she probably did not realize, if it was never physical until that, she probably didn't realize she was being treated. You know what I mean? Like, she probably didn't realize she was being gaslit and.
That's definitely true.
Who knows? And then they say that other murder that happened in the same town was not related. I don't know how it was not related, but.
Different times. They weren't there at that time.
Yeah, but she was literally the one that called and filed the police report on them. And so then she ends up murdered. I don't know. That's a really weird coincidence to me. But I guess stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
So, we are on just so everyone knows, I think I mentioned it last time. If I didn't, we do have you can go to catandashley.com, and all of our episodes get posted there, all the different platforms. You can leave us reviews. You can leave us a voicemail if you want to through our website. You can contact us if you want to be a guest on the show, if you have a story idea. You can message us on Facebook. And also now on Facebook, guys, we have been added to the Facebook podcast. So if you're looking at our page from a phone, you can see the podcast tab, and you can listen to all of our episodes from Facebook. You can share them very easily now, so that would be much appreciated. So that just happened over the weekend. Facebook just gave us that feature. So exciting stuff happening over here.
I know, it's like we're big time. We're official.
Yeah, we're Facebook official.
We're officially official.
I did create us a TikTok. I have not decided on a username because Case Files with Cat and Ash is too long. And so this is going to take me like 4 years to figure out what the username should be. That makes sense. But the account's there. It's just no name.
And TikTok will be gone by that point.
Yes, everyone will have moved on to a new platform.
Exactly.
And then
all right, everybody. Yes. Well, I was just gonna. No, I'm sorry.
No, I was
gonna keep talking.
No, I mean I can keep talking for hours. I'm good.
All right, everybody. Well, Join us next week, and until then, please be safe, be kind to one another, and we will see you back here next week.
Bye.
Bye.